Hello, good evening, everyone. It is your girl, Mrs. Ann, and I am the visionary of Smack Talk, where SMAC stands for Sisters, Mothers, Aunts, and Cousins. And my mission is simply to affirm, confirm, mold, and motivate you to be all you were created to be. Check it out, guys. Today is the day that I am presenting to you my sister, Pastor Karen Wilder. She is going to be one of the presenters for the annual Smack Talk Huddle. So I'm super excited for a couple of reasons because, as you guys know, for the month of October, we have been presenting each of the speakers that are going to be presenting during the annual Smack Talk Huddle, at least the women anyway. And we've been just kind of coming on and sharing with you guys, just giving you kind of a sneak peek of what you can expect at the huddle, right? And so, again, I'm super excited because Karen is here tonight. Didn't think that she was going to be able to make it because she had been battling illness. And so, but she is back because God is just good like that, right? Because he knows that we have purpose and he knows that we have things that we need to get done. And so he healed her body from the top of her head to the soles of her feet. And she is here and we are getting ready to bring some energy to you guys like none other because Karen is just a little ball of fire. And so without further ado, I am going to bring on with me Pastor Karen. Hello, hello,
Oh,
hello.
hello. It's good to
It
see
is so good to be with you. And Pastor Karen, I was just sharing with the people that I am so super excited about the huddle this year
you.
because I believe that as we go forward in talking about the worth of a woman, I believe that women are going to be truly, truly, truly empowered as well as inspired. And I really believe that lives are going to be changed as a result of us going forward in purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before we get too far into our conversation, Pastor Karen, what I would like for you to do is just kind of introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
All right. I am, Pastor Karen Weidler. Um, I'm from Bridgman right now. I'm living in Bridgman. I've been in Michigan most of my life. What I do is I'm a pastor. I was certified as a pastor. I've served in many churches, um, doing just whatever was needed. I do a lot of altar ministry, a lot of women's ministry, a lot, and counseling. I'm prophetic. I do a lot of prophetic work, give people words. I like to minister in the street. I've gotten words for people in airports and parking lots and different things. And the thing I love is when you say something that is God given, you'll
Yes.
see the tears because he's there and he's got it. And I love to share that with people and watch them as they experience that. And it takes them on their journey of learning who they are and what
Yes.
their true self is and their true calling. So I love being a part of that. I'm a pastor. Pastors shepherd people. Um, so I draw people to me and I keep them there and we grow in love together.
Yes, absolutely. That is amazing. And I'm kind of like you when it comes to things like that, Pastor Karen. When God gives me a word for people, it does my heart good when I can see that God can touch people. And I'm humbled that He chooses to use me. Because he can use anybody, but I'm always humbled when he chooses to use me. And so, Pastor Karen, and you are also the curator, I guess, for lack of better terms, of the Blueprint Ministries as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about Blueprint Ministries.
I've had Blueprint for, I think, about 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got the feeling from the Lord to have a ministry and call it Blueprint. Our logo is a big blueprint. Um, I feel that's because he's doing what's never been done. He's doing a new thing. That's our scripture, Isaiah. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. So it's a blueprint, and it's been exciting and it's been challenging because I don't have a map, so to speak. There's nobody I can follow their vision. This
Mhm.
is my vision and my husband's. So we have Blueprint. We tend to call ourselves an outreach ministry. We love people, no matter. We don't look at religion. We don't look at um, where you're at in life. None of that. We just love people and want to be with them and enjoy them. So Blueprint is something that is still unfolding. I don't even have a full description of it. It's just constantly new.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And so that being said, of course, that like literally leads me into my next question for you, which is, well, first of all, you're going to be talking about at the huddle, you're going to be talking about a woman's worth of ministry. And so this year we're talking about, um, we're talking about how to walk in your, how walking out a purpose driven life
Yeah.
as it relates to the woman's work in ministry. Like my brain just totally drew a blank there. And so, but we're talking about walking out your purpose driven life, right? And so when we talk about blueprint, right?
Mhm.
You said that this is called blueprint because it's literally it's how God is guiding you, right? There's no like he is the map. He's the blueprint of what the ministry is supposed to be about, etc. And so in talking about a woman's work in ministry, I want to know and tell the people, how did you know that you were called into ministry? Like what happened in your life that you said, "Oh, I think that God is calling me into ministry."
Well, when I was little, I had a nurse's cap, I've always taken care of people. I've always been there for them when they needed things. It's just like who I was. Then I wanted to be a lawyer because I worked in law, but it wasn't the right thing for me. Um, Although I did work in law for a long time. So I've always looked out for people. And when I got in a certain church, um, I saw a whole new way of doing it. And I would step in and do things I learned. I went to every class on ministry. Um, then one day, I think about 14 years ago, I heard the Lord speak to me, and He said, I want you to teach my word to my children.
Wow.
And that just blew my mind. To be truthful, I kind of ran from it. Um, we eventually went to another church, and we both felt to go there. It was just an odd thing, and it turned out they had a school of ministry there. So it was like God, just like Blueprint. He took me every step of the way. I knew when to step and where to step. It was difficult, um, but I knew that I was doing what God called me to do and that He would do it. Although there were a lot of times, um, I do a lot of questioning. Is this you? Is it? Am I doing the right thing? Did I do it wrong? I'm sorry. You know. He doesn't. He loves me, so I can do whatever. And talk to him. But yeah, that's how I knew I was called, was those words. And I still not sure what it meant completely, although it's pretty self-explanatory. So being in ministry, I have an access that you don't always have as a layperson, which is one of the main reasons I went ahead and went through school.
Yes, yes. Teresa said, "Won't he lead every step of the way?" Yes, he will.
Yes, he
Yes,
will.
he will.
Hmm.
And that's the really awesome part about God is that um, i- when we have the ability to follow Him as little children, when you think about a little kid, they will follow you as long as they trust you, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, Even a child who's being abused will follow the abuser,
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
And so when the Bible talks about having a childlike faith, because they're so innocent, they don't know whether they're being led the wrong way. And so when we just follow him with that childlike faith, it's amazing at what he will do through us. And the Bible says that he will never leave us nor forsake us.
Yep.
So that's the really beautiful part about it. And so and I know for myself, it's funny because as it relates to Smack Talk, I don't necessarily relate it to being a ministry, although it is.
Oh,
Whenever you are caring for people, right,
mhm.
that's ministering to the heart of people. And so Smack Talk is built around that concept of affirming, confirming, molding, motivating others to be all they were created to be. So whether you have a substance abuse issue, whether you have low self-esteem, whether you are codependent,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. We all need help in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
And so I remember the Lord telling me that He didn't give me a specific part of my life for me personally, but He gave me this particular thing for ministry. And I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that looked like.
Yep.
All I knew was I was going through HE double hockey sticks.
Yep.
And now when I look back, I'm like, wow, like, and this is what was birthed out of it. But it was the trusting process that wasn't always easy.
Yes.
And so that being said, because we know that walking out our call in ministry is not always an easy process,
Uh,
what has been the hardest part of walking out your call?
mm. I think, a lot of the challenges are, and I learned this when I was in school, you put God first. You put your husband, your spouse second. Your family goes third, and your ministry goes fourth.
Mhm.
Now, when do
Wow.
you ever get done with all those other things that you can get to the ministry? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
the balancing act. It's the balancing act. And um, I think that's been one of the hardest parts is watching the things that have always defined me melt away. It no
Oh,
longer defines me if my house is perfect, or if my hair is perfect, or if I've actually done enough laundry where I don't have to wear what I don't want. All those little things, because I'm going to put God first. But that's
right.
walking in ministry. It's a faith walk. It's a faith,
Yeah.
and that's very challenging.
Yeah. Wow. I love that how you said, how do you get done with all of those other things to
Yep.
get to the ministry part?
Right.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful because, yes, especially depending on the marriage that you're in, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, I know there was a time when I was literally told that I was hiding behind religion because I used to spend so much time in the word, studying the word of God, just feasting off of it. It was my peace. It was my consolation in the midst of everything that I was going through. And it was the thing that allowed me to really stay as long as I stayed, but I was literally told that I was nothing but the devil and I was hiding behind religion as a result. And so there was a time when I literally said, well, you know what? If I'm hiding behind religion and my spouse doesn't like this, so let me stop going to church.
Mhm.
Let me stop doing any of this stuff, right? But guess what happened? You know what I'm
God.
saying? Once that happened,
Yeah.
then I got into a whole lot of trouble, right?
Right.
And so, because that's how the enemy operates. And so, we have to be very careful about, like you said, that balancing. I remember my old life coach used to say, we can't balance life. However, we can find harmony,
Yeah.
right?
Very good.
Everything can move fluidly together.
Mhm.
And so, whenever you put something on a balance, what happens? As soon as something else gets added to one side or the other, it's going to make the other side
Peter
off
Tosh.
filter.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then life is constantly this,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Whereas when you learn to find harmony, everything just kind of, you know,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
moves together.
Mhm.
And so I would say to anybody who's listening, anybody who's watching, anybody who might catch the replay, which by the way, if you catch the replay,
Yeah.
please make sure that you come back. I mean, make sure that you hashtag replay because we will come back and respond to any of your comments throughout the live.
Mhm.
And so whenever you find that harmony, like I said, if you're struggling in life and you cannot find that evenness, right?
Right.
Then perhaps we need to stop trying to find balance
Yeah.
and learn to create a life of harmony
Right.
so that we can continue to operate in all of the areas that God has called us to. Because, and I think that's why a woman's worth is so powerful to me, because we are single at one point, we're married, we're
Yes.
mothers,
Mhm.
may be called to ministry. We may have businesses. A young lady stood up last year and asked us to talk about the divorced woman's worth,
Right.
And so I think that we have to keep that in mind, that we wear different hats. Last year we talked about how to embrace your call, no matter how to embrace your title, no matter which one you wear. Whether
Right.
you're single, married, divorced, it doesn't matter. How do you embrace this title that you wear?
Yes.
And so, with that being said, like I said, we have to find that fluidness in life and
Yes.
not get ourselves so worked up over, when husband's too demanding, when
Right.
kids are too
Yeah.
demanding, and then put a stick pin. How about how do we find time for ourselves?
Oh,
Right?
please. Please.
How do you find time
Figure
for
it out.
yourself?
I
You
know.
know,
Yeah.
because there's only 12 hours in a day,
Yeah.
right? How do you maneuver being the wife, being the mother,
Mhm.
being the woman in ministry, and then you might work outside of the home,
I do.
right?
Uh-huh.
Because you got to get up and go to work every day.
Yep. I do.
On top of getting up and going to work every day, then you got to come home. You got to tend to Mike.
Yeah.
Then you got to tend to Blueprint.
Oh, yeah.
What time do you have to, and then you might have the kids calling you,
Oh, yep.
When do you deal with Karen? When do you have that time to yourself? And so that being said, we talk about the hardest part of walking out the call. And of course, in contrast to that, there's the easy part. What do you find to be the most easiest part of walking out your call in ministry?
Well, I think course number one is faith walk in God. You talk about a husband. I was divorced for 10 years. And I asked God, I said, I want a man, I want a husband who will love my grandchildren. All I asked for. And I got
Oh,
mine. And he loves my grandchildren. He loves me. It's been a rough marriage at times, just like any marriage. We've been married 16 years, but he was in a church that was all about God. He took me there. He's the one who brought me into all this, and he still walks with me.
wow.
So I think one of the benefits is that faith. We can put anything aside and believe in God. Um, so yeah, I think the easiest part is just going with the faith. Um, Another easy part is seeing the results, and in the process, I find it's like you throw out a nugget and you watch someone process that and find the most gorgeous gem of all, which is them, their life, wherever they're going, and walking with them. But I like to watch that process of just putting it out there and watching what happens. That's the
Yeah.
part. It's the rewards of it. It's the fulfillment that makes me want more. It's the knowledge that I'm doing what God has asked me to do, and that He's doing it. So I'm not going to fail.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's so important too, is having, if you're married, if you happen to be married, because there's women that are out there.
Oh goodness.
My alert on my phone scared the crud muffin out of me. I think one of the easiest things of being, in any type of ministry or leadership is when you actually have a supportive spouse if you're married. Because again, when you have somebody who is it was constantly berating you and putting you down and telling you that you're not about anything or anything like that, it can be very difficult. Like there's no way to operate in any area of leadership
Right.
or ministry, right,
Mhm.
if you have that type of home environment. So of course, yes, it's always easiest when you have somebody who, even if they don't walk in ministry with you, just supporting you,
Absolutely.
just simply supporting you. And I think that that's the one thing that I can say as it relates to my husband,
Yeah.
and smack talk. Like, I honestly, I don't think that smack talk would have ever been birthed had I not been married to him, you
Absolutely.
know. And it blows my mind at here we are 6 years later,
Mhm.
still going strong with the annual smack talk huddles, um which it started from literally a group of women getting together
Mhm.
at a coworker's house. Um, so in 2018, we got together. We started out with the Christmas party. 2019, I call her my best sister friend. Her children and my oldest daughter, they all have the same father. And so, what better way to talk about authentic sisterhood than to bring two women together who,
Mhm.
by every sense of the earthly realm, or by every sense of the natural realm, have every reason to not be able to get along with one another, and we are close like none other, right?
Uh-huh.
um, so we talked about our journey on how our relationship developed during the second annual Smack Talk huddle.
Mhm.
And then the third one was my book launch, and it almost didn't happen because of the fact that we were at the height of the pandemic. My first
Yes.
book was being released, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have the huddle. And so um, I had a virtual book launch, and I was like, hey, this is going to work, right? I had my
Mhm.
virtual vow renewal, and then I
Yeah.
turned around and had my virtual book launch. So, it totally worked out. And then the fifth one, of course, that was like the fifth annual huddle, which was the one
Uh-huh.
that you were a part of. It was like that was absolutely uh and I always say this every year, like, oh my God, this is the best huddle ever. But it's like God always just he takes it up a notch. And I'm like, this is so mind blowing. It is so good. And so of course this year I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we can do what we did last year, but I know that God is going to come in and he is going to blow the roof off the house simply because he's good like that. But more
Oh,
importantly, and I'm never concerned about numbers, although I want as many women that can be in the room, and men, of course, this year, because we're going to be talking about the worth of a woman from a male perspective on that Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m.
yeah.
So I always say, whoever's supposed to be in the room is going to be in the room. So I'm never really concerned about numbers. However, I'm concerned about the numbers from the aspect that I know that if somebody shows up in the room, they are going to receive
Absolutely.
everything that God has for them. And it is going to blow their mind, because a lot of times, whenever you resist the opportunity to be a part of something, especially as it relates to people speaking into your life,
Yeah.
if you go ahead and push past whatever obstacles and you go, it's
Yes.
always one of those, oh man, I'm so glad I didn't miss this. Is it not?
Absolutely. That's
I
so
cannot count a time that I have not stepped in church where I didn't feel like going. And it's like, wow, I really needed to be here.
yep.
But that's how the enemy works. He
Oh,
wants to keep us from getting where we need to go. He
mhm.
doesn't care about where we're at right now. He brings obstacles to keep us from going where we need to go. And
Exactly.
so, like I said, I want for as many people that needs to be there to be there. But same time, same token, listen, I can't help it if you're not there. All I can say is you should have been. And that being said, Karen, if
Yeah.
you yourself could tell anybody, if somebody said, well, what is Smack Talk? I've never heard of that. What is a Smack Talk huddle? The dates are December 8th and 9th, Octeria. If somebody said, what is the annual Smack Talk huddle? Or what is Smack Talk all about? What would be your response to that question?
Well, and I hope I get this right, sisters, mothers, aunts, and cousins.
Yes.
That's every woman in the world, right? Coming together,
Everyone.
everyone,
Everyone.
all under one or more, all of those descriptions, right? That's who we are. But the thing is, it's every woman, every single woman in the world. And I've only been to one huddle, and that's the one I spoke at. But I'm going to tell you that it was life changing because from day one, and I know you came across me almost by mistake, but it was meant to be.
Yes.
You told me you love me and you have my back, and I believed you. And I can't tell you how many years it's been as a woman working in ministry, every part of my life, that I've actually had a woman that had my back. And everybody there is like that. There was no judgment. There was encouragement. There was just complete respect for everybody, whoever they were, whatever they did. Appreciation and excitement. We were excited for each other. I've never been in an environment like that. I have to say that, and I'm really excited about being a part of it. I'm excited about this year. If I wasn't going to speak, I would be there anyway. I'm coming with my husband Friday night. I'm so excited, but it was that true connection with other women, and that can be very difficult. But this particular um, place, this particular activity, this particular vision, what God is doing. And like you said, we show up no matter what the weather is, no matter how we're feeling, no matter who we had a fight with, who cares, right? Or
Yes.
I took off work since I think August to make sure I could be there in December. But it's being together and having that connection sports is where you can just literally be your true self.
Yes.
You don't worry about how you look. You don't worry about, your face, you don't have time because you're just connecting and it's so fulfilling. It meets a need that I believe all women have that is very rare to actually find. So I would tell somebody that it is for every woman. It's about every woman and it's real. It's truth. It's utter truth.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing that, Karen. I think and I have to say this because as it relates to this, when I first talked about Smack Talk,
Mhm.
somebody asked me, well, sisters, mothers, aunts, and cousins, well, what does your client avatar look like? And I was asked the question, well, why is it not just for African American women? Why is it not just for Black women? And I'm
Mhm.
like, because we are women.
There you go. Yep.
Because we're women. And it
Uh-huh.
doesn't matter whether you're white, black, purple, brown, green, orange, yellow, blue.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter. I can learn from you. You can learn from me.
Yep.
And I think that this right here is literally the epitome of literally what Smack Talk stands for. Because remember last year when I did my segment and
Mhm.
I talked about we are a business, right? Because my subject is a woman's worth in business. My subject was a woman's worth in business. And I talked about the fact that we as women, we are a business, right? We
Mhm.
ourselves,
Yeah.
we are a business. You run a business, you run a home, you run children, you run a
Mhm.
spouse, you run your job. Like you are a business, right?
Yeah.
And I talked about that. And so I said I got everybody to pair up together and to share, right? And here, Chadney's daughter, the youngest lady in the room,
Mhm.
sat down and spoke to an adult who was old enough to be her literal grandmother.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, when everybody went to share, she was like, oh my God, this young lady literally spoke a word into my life.
Yes. Yes.
So, like, literally, that's just how powerful it is
Mhm.
for women to come together in authentic freedom and truth.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
is literally the epitome of what that looks like.
Yeah.
I remember the second annual Smack Talk Huddle. We had a young lady there. I can't remember how old she was, but I know she was still in like junior high.
Wow.
And me and my sister, we shared our stories. And mind you, we're talking about two women who have children that are the same age.
Right.
This little girl sat there through the huddle the whole time, and we thought she wasn't paying attention because she couldn't relate to this situation. She was a kid, but her mother wanted her to be in the room, so she brought her. After the huddle was over and we did the Q&A, this little girl, she sat up in her chair. She had been slouched in her chair the whole time. She
Right.
sat up in her chair and she was like, first of all, I would like to say to you ladies, don't stop doing what you're doing.
Wow.
She said, this is the epitome of agape love. And more people need to do what you guys are doing. And that's to continue to love each other. I was like, okay, evangelist. I was blown away.
Yes.
I was blown away because these were words coming out of the mouth of a babe, right?
Yes.
Who is saying, and she said, I can't relate because I've never been there, right? I don't even have a boyfriend. But what I do know is this is agape love. This
Ooh,
is unconditional love.
you knew who was talking to you.
That exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So that let me know that, you know what, the huddles are so vitally important
Yep.
to the lives of women.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why I say, share, please share with everybody that you know, not so that people can get to know Antoinette, but so that we as women can come together and be affirmed, confirmed,
Uh-huh.
molded, and motivated
Yeah.
into the people, into the women that
Uh-huh.
God has created us to be. Because whether you're in marketplace or ministry, you have a purpose
Mhm.
and you have a role to fulfill in somebody's life somewhere. But if you don't get that encouragement, there was a time when I sat back and I was going through what I was going through and I was all by myself, right? Because I was of the shame, the embarrassment. I didn't want anybody to know, what was going on in my home with my husband. I didn't want anybody to know. I couldn't talk to anybody. The only people that knew was the people that was in my life group. Because we had life groups at Blue Rule.
Yeah,
Those
right.
were the only people that knew anything about what was going on, and even then, a lot of people, because once you walk away from life group, what happened in life group stayed in life group. So nobody really talked to you about what you was going through.
Right.
So of course I had an amazing life group leader. Shannon was amazing. She kept in contact with me. Shannon was the only person that would talk to me outside of life group about what I was going through because she was always praying with me.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, I was going through, but you don't want to call people and tell them what's going on, what you're struggling with or anything like that. So
Right.
you just kind of, you deal with it by yourself. Well, Smack Talk it's a community. It's not about Antoinette. And this is my theory, right?
Mhm.
It's not Antoinette and then everybody else underneath her.
Right.
It's Antoinette and everybody else that stands beside her
There you go.
because this
Yeah.
is not a horizontal relationship. This is linear. We stand side by side, arm in arm, upholding one another so that when my sister falls, when my mother falls, when my aunt falls, when my cousin falls, somebody is there to lift her back up.
Yes.
All need somebody,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I have the private group, I wish more women would get in that group and actually communicate with one another because that's what it's there for. It's for us to be able to share and whatever happens when it comes to the Smack Talk community, whatever is talked about in the Smack Talk group, the private group, it doesn't go any further than that.
Right.
It stays right there. There is a Smack Talk community page. So
Mhm.
if you want to share something publicly, by all means, have at it. But anything private, whatever you're going through,
Yep.
that can be shared over there. So you have a community of women that can affirm, confirm, mold, and motivate you, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
when it comes to this whole social media thing, there are some social media bullies out here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And people will talk about you, people will put you down, but you have very few people who are willing to uplift and pray for you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, that's what the Smack Talk community is all about. I will quickly boot somebody if I ever heard about somebody talking about somebody else's private business outside of that. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even go for that because that's not what the community represents. And so I digress from that. Like I said, I would that anybody who can, get registered for the annual Smack Talk Huddle. Yes, I know we're in Michigan. We're looking to actually take the huddle to another state
Yeah.
where it's a little bit warmer. We're going to bump it up so that it's during the summer or fall. And so that people can come and attend because a lot of people don't want to travel. My sister, Chadney, she travels all the way from Roseville, North Carolina, in
Hmm.
order to be one of the presenters for the huddle, and so you cannot go anywhere and receive what you're going to receive from the huddle at
Yeah.
the cost that it's going to be. So as you see, there's a ticker going across the screen for those of you that are coming into the Facebook or coming into the live. The special pricing are on the tickets during this live only. The sale ends when the live ends. And so if you need a little bit more time to get your card out so that you can get registered, please make good and do so because you cannot go anywhere and get 2 days of anything like this at the cost that these tickets are at, at this time. If you need hotel accommodations, please make sure that you reach out to me if you're coming from out of state, because my husband's job, they are giving us the ability to be able to get hotel rooms at a discounted rate. So make sure that you reach out to me if you are coming from out of state. You can't beat the price.
Right.
You know,
That's right. Yeah.
and for what you're going to receive from it, that's the most important part is there you get fed Friday night. We're going to be talking about the worth of a woman from
Yeah.
a male perspective. And there's going to be a panel of men that are going to be talking about a single woman's worth, a married woman's worth,
Mhm.
a mother's worth, a woman in ministry's worth, as well as a woman in business worth. And then we're coming back to you guys on Saturday. And we're going to be talking about a single woman, a married woman, a divorced woman, a mother, a woman in business, and a woman in ministry. We're going to be talking about the worth of a woman walking out your purpose-driven life. And so this is going to be phenomenal. For those of you that are not able to attend the huddle, if you want to sponsor a ticket,
Yeah.
please, by all means, it's nothing wrong with, what, I can't go, I can't travel out of state, but at least I can send somebody else that may benefit this because we will give those tickets to somebody,
Right.
whoever the Lord lays on our heart. That's who the ticket will go to. So again, if you can't come, sponsor somebody.
Right.
Even for the speakers, if you want to sponsor somebody,
Mhm.
by all means, sponsor somebody because this is going to be an amazing event. So until we can get to another state, for those of you that may be watching from them southern states like the Carolinas, my sisters that's in the Carolinas, we will travel to you. We will come to you and we will do this, right? And so I'm super excited. Like I said, I cannot wait until December. Just to let you guys know, there are raffle tickets. There's 2 prizes that we have raffle tickets for. One is for a Samsung Chromebook. Those raffle tickets are $20 each, or 6 for $100. Or you can buy a raffle ticket for a 55-inch smart TV for $25, or 6 tickets for $100. So again, the tickets for the TV is $25 each, or 6 tickets for $100, and the Chromebook is also $20 each, or 6 tickets for $100. So you can inbox me if you're interested in getting a raffle ticket. However, if you are out of state, somebody had asked me, can people out of state uh, uh, join the raffle? Yes, you can. However, you will have to pay to have the product shipped to you. I will not be responsible for shipping.
Right.
I will not be responsible for shipping. So you can buy a raffle ticket. However, you will have to pay additional for the shipping to you so that you can buy whatever insurance you want on the products, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
So that being said, We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Karen, if you would, Pastor Karen, I'm sorry, if you would, what is one bit of advice that you would have for any woman who feels that she has been called into leadership or ministry, whether it's marketplace, but especially in ministry? What is one piece of advice that you would leave for them?
I would leave this advice. Remember who you are. You're going to have many flaming successes and many flaming failures. But if you remember who you are because that never changes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
You will have many flaming successes,
Yes.
but if you remember who you are,
Yeah.
that'll never change.
Well,
That is good.
flaming failures too. Come on.
Yes,
Remember who
yes,
you are because
yes.
yes.
But remember who you are. Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes, you need to go and post that in the. Yeah, you need that should have been that. That needs to be one of your quotes that you send me for me to put up.
I'll do that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Lauren said that is powerful. So I just want to tell you guys that came on, thank you so much. Please share this live.
Yeah.
Please share this live. Of course, we definitely want to get the word out to as many people as possible. Once again, when the live ends, the sale ends on the tickets. So I will be going in and changing those prices. So if you need additional time to go ahead and get your ticket, please make sure that you inbox me real quick, because after November the 1st, the tickets will go back to the regular price.
Mhm.
So thank you guys. Thank you so much in joining me. Thank you so much for partnering with me in purpose, on purpose. I love you guys so much. To all of my Smack Talk panelists, to all of my Smack Queens, to all of my speakers, to my entire Smack Talk community, I love you guys dearly. I thank you so much for continuing to rock out with me. And let's make this year a year to remember. All right. And as always, we're going to get out of here. But as always, in party, make sure that you do go and talk smack to somebody. You guys have an amazing rest of your night.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Love you, everybody.